It's been 2 months since my last Harry Potter video, so I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting. Let's just get right into it, why don't we? This movie does not mess around. Within the first few minutes of the film, right after Dudley calls Harry gay,
who said you're your boyfriend?
Harry and his cousin are immediately attacked by Dementors. High stakes right off the bat. I'm liking it. I wish it stayed that way. So Harry uses the Patronus charm to save the two of them. Expecto Patrona. I still got it. But soon after that, he is expelled from Hogwarts for using magic in the Muggle world. We are introduced to the Order of the Phoenix, and they take Harry away to where the other members of the Order are. Who is she? Which include Sirius Black, baby. Let's go.
Now.
Oh, dude, he's looking good, looking well put together.
Harry.
Also, Ron and Hermione are there. So that's cool, I guess. Quick comment, that little ear thing, I hated that. It made me feel gross and tingly in all of the wrong places. I don't ever want to see that again. The Ministry doesn't want to believe that Harry used magic in self-defense against a Dementor, and further, they completely deny that Voldemort's back at all. But in the end, Harry is cleared of all charges. Off to Hogwarts. And at Hogwarts, that one really annoying person from the Ministry becomes the teacher of Defense Against the Dark Arts. She's obviously corrupt as hell, and she kind of looks like a female version of Will Ferrell. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I definitely see it. So she gives Harry detention for saying that Voldemort's back at all, and makes him write into his hand a bunch of times. And over time, she slowly works her way up school ranks until she basically is the Hogwarts warlord. She shuts down any sort of misinformation and refuses to teach students how to defend themselves. That's pretty cringe. At around this point in the movie, they also introduce that Harry can kind of see Voldemort's visions or see his vision through some sort of mental link that they have. And Harry uses this to kind of predict or know when someone is being attacked by Voldemort. That way they can get there just in time to save that person's life. As the Ministry continues to use smear campaigns against Harry and Dumbledore, our based little students start an underground militia. I'm not kidding. Where Harry teaches the students how to defend themselves from any threat from within or outside of the school. However, even though they are aware that the Ministry of Magic is trying to smear Dumbledore's name by saying that he is trying to take over the Ministry of Magic, our little heroes still name their little fighting group Dumbledore's Army. Not only that, but they write that down in big letters on a piece of paper with then all of the members' names on it. That's definitely not going to come back and bite them. So the Ministry catches wind of this little fighting group and decides to ban any gatherings of people unless, of course, the Ministry themselves granted permission for these people to gather. Guess what? Eventually, Mrs. Will Ferrell finds Harry and the gang in the act of their little fighting class and finds the paper with the title Dumbledore's Army, which of course leads to Dumbledore's exile. And right after that, our little annoying warlord really does become the head mistress of Hogwarts, therefore basically ruling the whole school. However, it doesn't quite go how she planned. After a small revolt, Harry sees a vision of my boy Sirius Black being tortured. Just like before, he decides to try and find him to save him. But before they can leave, Mrs. Will stops our heroes, but they trick her into following them into the forest, where she is grabbed by Hagrid's half-giant, half-bad CG demon brother that they introduced a while ago. And then, of course, the centaurs take her away because she is a bit racist.
Lower your weapons. I warn you.
Kill her!
Under the law, as creatures of near-human intelligence. How dare you?
Damn it. So the gang then gathers their forces and then heads off to save Sirius Black. Once they get there though, it turns out it was a trap. The Death Eaters show up in the prophecy room and tries to take the prophecy about Harry and Voldemort. But being that our heroes are a bunch of children, it's not long before, of course, the Death Eaters kinda win? They take all the kids hostage and use them to bargain with Harry into giving over the prophecy. But right before Harry gives up the prophecy, our boy Sirius Black shows up and then... Oh, shit. 0 to 10. Oh, my... F*** you, J.K. Rowling. Voldemort and Dumbledore are kind of evenly matched here, so after a cool little fight, Voldemort decides to get the edge by possessing Harry, or trying to. But using his power of love and friendship, I'm not kidding, they did it again.
You're the weak one. And you'll never know love.
What shot? That's
or
just,
friendship.
it's from a bad, like...
And I feel sorry for you.
The power of friendship. Harry resists the possession, and then the Ministry shows up right as Voldemort is retreating. And then it ends with them having to come to terms with the fact that yes, Voldemort's back and they've just been a bunch of idiots. So my thoughts on this movie is that it's kind of forgettable. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's just that nothing really stands out. And the one thing that bothered me was the Ministry of Magic from the very start. Obviously, you could tell that they're corrupt, and they had some sort of bias against Dumbledore and Harry, right? With all their smear campaigns and stuff. That was clear. But I was under the impression that they must have been infiltrated and corrupted from the inside out because of Voldemort. But it turns out they were just kind of paranoid. So they took these drastic measures based off of nothing but a hunch that for some reason Harry and Dumbledore of all people would be lying to them. There was also that scene with Hagrid that was right after the one with the really weird rotoscoping, where Hagrid introduces us to Groppy, the terrifying CGI monster. In that same scene, Hagrid then says that the centaurs are unhappy with the Ministry for some reason involving land.
The Ministry restricts their territory much more. They're going to have a full uprising on their hands.
This scene serves no other purpose than as a setup for the payoff later on, where Harry and the gang take care of Mrs. Will Ferrell by taking her into the woods, dealing with Groppy, and then she gets taken off by the centaurs. Maybe this is an issue with the movie itself, maybe it's just an issue with the book. I'm not sure, I haven't read it. Instead of adding multiple purposes to each scene, it seems like there are a lot of scenes that are one scene to set up, one scene to pay off. And each scene is just a few minutes long, but this is a pattern that they do. One setup, one payoff scene. I feel like you can mix and match, that way you shorten the movie and keep things more interesting. For instance, near the beginning of the movie, Harry talks with that weird goth girl about these weird animals that he sees, which then she explains only some person who has been close to death can see these animals. The setup. Later on in the movie, they can't figure out how to get to London to save Sirius Black, but then they use these flying death animals. There's the payoff. It's just one setup, one payoff. I start forgetting how many different setups there are, so sometimes I don't see payoffs coming. There are also way too many scenes that are just like, magic spectacle, whoa, look at this, isn't that cool? Maybe it's just me, but 5 movies in, I kinda get it. Like, I understand. You guys are magical, you can fly on brooms, or the weird dead horses things, or the Griffith. Like, cool. You guys can fly. Now I know a lot of people are gonna say, but it's world building. But is it necessary? So to sum it up, I say that Order of the Phoenix, for me, gets a 7 out of 10. It's entertaining, it continues the story, adds to what we know, but it does seem stretched out. The world of Harry Potter is vast, but seems shallow. I would love that instead of them adding more and more magic systems, that instead they just dive deep into the few that we already knew and expanded those. However, you killed Sirius Black, so gonna have to dock a point for you there. Sorry, maybe next time, don't kill Gary Oldman. Up next, the Half-Blood Prince. I'm not gonna try and summarize the whole thing, I'm just going to hit key points, then explain my opinions as we go. And my opinions right off the bat are, you introduce us to another mode of transportation? This only goes to prove my point. We have so many already. You got brooms, you got that weird shoe thing, you have the fireplace one, and then you have the dead horses. Why? So at this point, there are so many cool modes of transportation that we only see a few of them like once or twice before the next one's introduced, which we only see once or twice. It's very situational, it seems. So why keep introducing a new one when you could just use the old ones and in fact expand the rules on how to use that previously known mode of transportation? 'Cause wizards. So Harry and Dumbledore use this new mode of transportation to find an old friend of Dumbledore's to recruit him to teach at Hogwarts. So Harry gets teleported to the Weasleys where Hermione is hanging out, as always. Yet somehow, her and Ron just can't understand the fact that they like each other. Somehow, 6 years in, even though we see them have their moments on screen like over and over again, and it is implied that they hang out during the summer without Harry, but they still haven't connected the dots that they like each other. I thought that they did a few times already. With Cho's absence, Harry begins to find an attraction to Ron's younger sister. I feel like that's breaking some sort of bro code that's written out there, but at this point in the movie, we see Snape making a pact with Draco Malfoy's mother. This is after the father was sent to Azkaban for being a Death Eater, and Snape makes a pact to keep Draco safe while he tries to finish a task, and if Draco can't, then Snape must finish that task. What task? I don't know. We'll find out in 2 hours after we show you a bunch of other footage of other things and silly teen drama just for you to forget. I'm gonna tell you now. Draco's task was to, in fact, open a doorway. That way the Death Eaters could enter the school and then kill Dumbledore. That's the plan. I'm not sure why Dumbledore and not Harry, because the prophecy in the previous movie clearly stated that Harry and Voldemort, they cannot succeed unless the other one's dead. So wouldn't that make Harry the primary target, but it's Dumbledore? Why? I don't know. Draco would have also had the perfect opportunity to do so. For instance, in the train while Harry is eavesdropping on Draco, Draco finds him out, breaks his nose. Why not his neck? Beats me. You would have been one step closer to having Voldemort win. I'm pretty sure that would have been the step for Voldemort to win. But sorry, Dumbledore's our target right now. Next, we have some more plot setup. Harry finds the book that belonged to the Half-Blood Prince, and turns out that Dumbledore's friend, Slughorn, had some vital information about a young Voldemort. So these two things combine with the whole plot point of Severus Snape making a deal with the Death Eaters to protect Draco. It's a pretty good setup, I'd say. But we gotta put all that on pause because it's time to get into some teen drama. Love triangle, because Ron and Hermione can't figure things out, and this other guy likes Hermione, but also Harry likes Ginny, and she's snogging some other guy, so that's crazy. And that's another thing. Not kissing, not making out, snogging. I could go on forever about just strange British lingo, but all I gotta say is snogging? Before I leave this topic, they call whipped cream square-y cream. So can I finally make fun of them? This world is falling apart. Eventually, while crunk off of that luck juice that Harry got earlier, Harry is able to extract the information from Slughorn about Voldemort. Turns out, back in the day, a young Voldy, aka Tom Riddle, was wondering about Horcruxes and immortality. That's besides the point. Luck potion? That's super effective? All of your endeavors succeed? Why don't they use this more often? Is it rare or hard to make? And if it is, then why would you give it to a student as a prize for making a potion? Not to mention the potion being living death, which apparently is so potent that it could kill everybody in that class.
So perfect, I dare say one drop would kill us all.
Why isn't that used? That seems like it would be very effective at doing things. This is what I meant when I said that they expand the world without expounding upon what we already have. They just add new stuff. They don't think about how this would affect the world. They're just like, you know what would be cool? Let's throw this in there. I feel like a lot of these things would have a great impact on everything in the wizard world. Liquid luck. You find all of your endeavors succeed. Why is this the first time that I'm hearing about it? Sure, just adding a bunch of things is world building, but it's just not good world building. Anyway, Harry and Dumbledore teleport to a cave, and Dumbledore has to drink liquid ass to retrieve one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. And eventually, they have to fight off these things together. What the hell are those? And why are there so many of them? Wouldn't you like to know? I would. Sucks to be me. Don't ask questions. Just look at how cool this is. Anyway, they come back and Draco tries to kill Dumbledore, but he can't bring himself to do it, so Snape does it for him. Why did Snape take this oath to begin with? I don't know. Why did he meet with the other Death Eaters? Still not fully explained. But everyone joins together to point their sticks up in the sky and destroy the Justice Stand.
My stand justice always prevails!
And yeah, that's pretty much the end. So many questions and so very few answers. Most of the questions from all of the previous 5 movies are not answered, and instead they sprinkle new ones about how the world works. Why not kill Harry? And why go for Dumbledore? I don't know. I feel like killing Harry would be much more effective. Also, how did Snape know that Harry had the book that said Half-Blood Prince in it? Again, it's not a bad movie. But to me, it's just nothing special. It's just a regular old entertaining movie with a lot of holes or inconsistencies if you think about it too much. All the movies too have just been slowly mushing together in my head as I watch more and more. Each one just slowly loses its uniqueness. It's just kind of like, ooh, cool, magic stuff. We'll set up a little bit of a plot, but for now, teen drama up until the point where you forget all of the plot setups. That way, by the time that we deliver it to you, it doesn't hit as hard. So, 6 out of 10, stop saying snogging. Anyway, that's it for now. I have no idea how this video is gonna come out. I am tired, I am exhausted, I'm a little lightheaded, but I had to get this done. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong or if I missed anything. It is hard for me to focus on these movies when they introduce so many things all at once without answering previous questions that I had. So I might be missing a few things. Let me know in the comments if I did. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Also, watch the previous 2, please. Yeah, and subscribe. I got some more videos coming out that I hope will be interesting. I got some more movies, some games, and yeah, subscribe. Now that I'm in a new room where I can close the door, and it also is in fact not the most popular room in my house, I can start making more videos a little more often. So that'll be fun. Subscribe for those. Anyway, that's it for now. See ya.